Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. 38th favorite dad in the family community, Papa West, Jacob West, here for another episode of TMG Takes the Field. It's going to be the Super Bowl special. It's going to be the NBA trade line special. And it's just flat out going to be special because I say it's special. Because everything I do is special. At least that's what my friends tell me. Yes, we did one right before the playoffs. We didn't do anything during the playoffs. So now that the playoffs are done, we might as well get into it. And again, we're gonna talk about quite a bit of stuff because there has been a lot happening in the world of sports. First, I want to talk about NCAA football. Last time I talked to y'all, the season was done. We just had the national championship, where we won't talk about the national championship because I don't want to do that. But what we will say is Texas and Oklahoma are officially leaving the Big 12, heading to the SEC. Um, they are after the 2023-2024 season, which is this upcoming season. This will be the last season with Texas and Oklahoma in the Big 12. After this, they are moving on to the SEC. Of course, other big news as far as colleges switching conferences. There was UCLA and USC in talks of moving to the Big Ten. I haven't heard of anything yet official on there. There's also kind of been some talk about a lot of teams moving to the Big 12 to replace uh, Texas and Oklahoma. Again, haven't really heard a whole lot yet. Um, but hey, season's still young, or the off season technically. The off season is still young, so we'll see later on down the road what happens with that. But I did want to kind of talk about that. Um, what I think is going to affect that, there's definitely going to be some conference realignments in the SEC. They normally have the East and West, which is weird because Missouri is on the East, and they're like one of the most Western universities in the SEC. So we're going to see a change in the divisions for the SEC. What they are yet, we do not know because they have not said that. But that is all I have as far as NCAA football today. Tomorrow, maybe a different story. I do kind of want to go into the NBA. I know I do not talk about the NBA a lot. We're starting to get to that point where that's changing. This yesterday was the trade deadline, and there were a lot of moves, a lot of surprising moves that I was not expecting. Some good, some bad. I'm not going to go over all of them, but I'm going to go over the big ones. So as I pull them up, one, I think Celtics trade Noah Vonleh to the, or yeah, the Celtics trade Noah Vonleh to the Spurs for a future second round pick. Noah Vonleh, uh, not a huge name in basketball, but if you follow, you know that name. I know that name. I don't know how I know that name because I'm not a huge basketball fan, but I watch here and there. The one that I really do want to talk about is Kyrie Irving is heading to the Dallas Mavericks. He actually already headed there. I believe Wednesday was his first game. And as you all know me, I'm a Mavericks fan. How I feel about this, I'm a little confused. Because Kyrie is a point guard and Luka does a great job at point. But that being said, it is always good to have multiple playmakers on your team, especially if Luka is not playing, which he has not been playing, as he has been dealing with an ankle injury. Kyrie made his debut with the Mavericks. I believe it was Wednesday night, could have been Tuesday night, in which they won. I believe they beat the Clippers. But the Mavericks get Kyrie Irving and Markieff Morris. The Nets, a little upset about this. We give him Spencer Dinwiddie and Dorian Finney-Smith. I really enjoy watching Dorian Finney-Smith play. He is a very underrated power forward, in my opinion. And then our 2029 first-round pick and 2 future second-round picks. But that being said, Luka's getting some help. We are getting another playmaker in Dallas. The next couple ones I am just skipping over because nobody cares about these people. Next, we have another huge blockbuster trade, this involving 3 teams with the Lakers, Jazz, and Timberwolves. I don't know the exact where everyone's going in this, so I'm just going to say what teams are getting what. So the Lakers are receiving D'Angelo Russell, young player out of Minnesota, Malik Beasley, and Jared Vanderbilt. Timberwolves are receiving Mike Conley, Nickel Alexander Walker, the 2024 second round pick from the Lakers, 2025 second round pick from the Jazz, and the 2026 second round pick also from the Jazz. The Jazz are receiving Russell Westbrook, Juan Toscano Anderson, Damian Jones, and the 2027 first round pick from the Lakers. So definitely the Jazz, huge pickup with Russell Westbrook, Mr. Triple Double himself, who is one of those players who doesn't play well with others. There was the big 3 with Oklahoma City, him, Durant, and they had a third. I'm just going to say Joakim Noah because I'm blanking on who the third. James Harden. How did I forget James Harden? James Harden, of course, went to the Rockets, so there was just the 2. And they did very well together. Never able to get anything. They lost to the Warriors the year the Warriors blew a 3-1 lead. In fact, the Thunder blew a 3-1 lead to the Warriors. But then has just kind of been off to himself. Stayed with the Thunder for a little bit after Kevin Durant left, went to the Wizards, and then played with the Lakers, which everyone thought was going to be a great pickup with playing with LeBron and Anthony Davis. Nothing really came of it. Fun fact: you can't always just put superstars together and expect them to do well. Happened with the Heat. So do with that as you will. Words are hard sometimes. But he is definitely, if he's going to be on a team, he better be the best player on the team and just have people with him because he's going to be a playmaker. With the Jazz, Jazz getting rid of most of their players this past offseason, so saying they were in a rebuild, kind of proven that with this move too. I do also, I kind of like that Mike Conley pickup from the Timberwolves. He's an underrated player in my opinion. And then the Lakers, D'Angelo Russell is a really good pickup. No one else is a great pickup. But we are gonna stick with the Lakers. This is another 4-team trade, which there's only like one person I really want to talk about on this one, but it is the Nuggets, Lakers, Clippers, Magic. The Nuggets receive Thomas Bryant. I don't know who that is. The Lakers receive Mo Bamba. I know who that is. Davon Reed. Don't know who that is. And then a second-round pick from who I do not know who. The Clippers are picking up Bones Highland. Don't know who that is. And then the reason I wanted to talk about this, the Magic receive 2024 second-round pick from the Nuggets, cash consideration from the Lakers. I'm going to assume that's the Lakers because it just says Los Angeles on my list, but also Patrick Beverley. Patrick Beverley, not really a big name because he's not a fantastic player, but he is a baller. He's been with the Clippers for a while, was with the Lakers. I don't remember him signing with the Lakers, but I don't know everything, obviously. But he always has his head in the game and does whatever it takes to help his team win. So that I think is a pretty good pickup for the Magic. Magic aren't really going to be doing anything much in the next couple of years, but I think he's a good veteran to have on your team for a rebuild. Sorry, hiccups are horrible. right now. Going through a couple others, because again, no one really cares about these. Another one, this is involving another three teams, the Clippers, Rockets, and the Grizzlies. The Clippers are receiving Eric Gordon. The Rockets are receiving John Wall and Danny Green, and the Grizzlies receive Luke Kennard. Big ones here, the Clippers receiving Eric Gordon. Pretty good point guard, in my opinion. Not a star point guard by any means, but definitely a pretty good veteran point guard. The Rockets getting Danny Green. John Wall, they did, I believe it was announced earlier today that they are releasing John Wall. Good old Kentucky Wildcat there, who hasn't really done much in the past couple of years. So it's kind of sad to see him not on a team at the moment. But he is very talented. So we'll see if anybody gives him a chance here coming up. Trade involved with the Clippers and Hornets. The Hornets receive Reggie Jackson in the 2028 second-round pick from the Clippers. The Clippers receive Mason Plumlee, pretty good center, in my opinion. And then I think this is the last one. Another one with a 4-team deal. The Suns, Nets, Bucks, and Pacers. I'm going to start down and work my way up. The Pacers received George Hill, Serge Ibaka, Jordan Nwora, 3 future second-round picks, and cash consideration. The Bucks are receiving Jay Crowder. Jay Crowder, elite from 3, used to at least. The Nets receive Michael Bridges, Cameron Johnson, Juan Pablo Valle, the 2023 first-round pick from Phoenix, the 2025 first-round pick from Phoenix, the 2027 first-round pick from Phoenix, the 2028 first-round pick swap from Phoenix. So the Nets will get their first-round pick sent to Phoenix. 2028 second-round pick from Milwaukee, 2029 first-round pick from Phoenix, and a 2029 second-round pick from Milwaukee. So I know what you're thinking. The Suns are sending the Nets 4 first-round picks. What are the Suns getting in return for sending 4 first-round picks to the Nets? Heading to Phoenix is TJ Warren. Who is that? I do not know, but he is not the reason the Suns are sending 4 first-round picks. The reason the Suns are getting rid of all their draft picks because they just picked up Kevin Durant. Mr. KD himself, Mr. I'm going to create a fake Twitter account just to hype myself up. Kevin Durant is a Phoenix Sun. He is back in the Western Conference. Very surprising. I was not expecting to see that. There was news early last week that Kyrie wanted out, but there was not a lot of speculation that KD wanted out. If he did, I don't know. I am not an insider, obviously. I wouldn't be here if I was an insider. I wouldn't be doing this if I was an insider. But what I will say, this is a huge pickup for the Suns. When I first saw that he was heading there, I was like, what are they giving up? Who are they giving up? Because you have to give up players to get that. And I'm really surprised that they're able to keep Chris Paul and Devin Booker. Didn't really get rid of any players, to be fair. So what that does for Phoenix, of course, they are in win now mode. You can't get rid of all these picks and not be in win now mode. And they're definitely going to be scary. They were the number 1 overall seed last year. They made it to the second round of the playoffs and lost to the Mavericks. But man, they did make it to, I think they made it to the finals like 2-3 years ago. So watch out for this team. This just made the Western Conference a killer conference. You have the Mavericks, who just picked up Kyrie. You have the Lakers and Clippers, which, hey, they might not be number 1 teams, but they're always going to be hard. You have the Warriors, And now you have the Suns. Obviously, I didn't name every single team in the Western Conference that has a chance to go far because I don't know how every team's doing. But I do know, watch out for the Suns. Probably going to be a favorite to win it all after that. And then I also want to talk about the Brooklyn Nets. What's going on, Brooklyn? A couple years ago, they made those pickups to get Harden and KD along with Kyrie. So everyone thought this was going to be a dynasty. Last year, they got rid of Harden. This year, and they picked up Ben Simmons, who never played. This year, they get rid of KD and Kyrie. So this is a huge fall from grace, which is funny because the Nets dynasty never did anything. So very interesting to see. We are almost at the halfway point. So the season is really heating up now. We have the All-Star break coming up very soon. So we will have the All-Star Showdown also coming up very soon. But now we're on to the big one. The one that we talk about a lot, and that is the NFL, the National Football League. I wanted to go live yesterday and talk about the stuff, but NFL honors went a lot longer than I was expecting. So let's go ahead and talk about NFL honors. NFL honors was last night, sending out all the yearly awards throughout everything in the league. We'll kind of break down all of them. First, and I'm just going from the list that I have down from the bottom all the way to the top, because the top one's the important one. The top one is the one that I'm probably going to be talking about a lot. And a lot of these are just weird random awards that are just awards for whatever. A lot of these I don't know, I don't remember off the top of my head because this was a weird NFL season for me. I did start working a second job in the middle of last year, which made me not able to watch as much NFL as I normally do. So there's a lot that I did miss this year. And just because there's a lot of where they don't give you a ton of information that I just don't remember what this is. But so the first award we're going to talk about, the Head and Shoulders Never Not Working Protection Play of the Year. That's 49ers tight end George Kittle versus the Dallas Cowboys. Assuming this was in the playoffs when they had a very good game, the 49ers and the Cowboys. But Kittle was a monster. That drive, it was like the only touchdown drive, or only touchdown drive. It was the Kittle drive, is what they call it. Kittle having that amazing catch to keep them alive, and end up allowing Christian McCaffrey to run like a 2-yard touchdown run. It was not a long run, but it was a very tough drive. The Jim Brown Award, the rushing leader, goes to Josh Jacobs, the Las Vegas Raiders running back. Big surprise because watching the year, you have the Raiders. I thought they'd be a playoff team. I thought they were going to win their division, but definitely underperformed. That being said, they did have at least 3 Pro Bowlers. I know for a fact Derek Carr, Devontae Adams, and Josh Jacobs made the Pro Bowl. I think Mason Crosby did too, so 4. I don't have the exact list in front of me, so it's just running off of memory right now. But definitely a surprise from an underperforming year. He is the number 1 running back. The angry run of the year, Dameon Pierce, Texans running back versus the Jaguars. And that's all I have. I don't remember this run because they played twice, but I imagine it was good. The Art Rooney Sportsmanship Award goes to Calais Campbell, who is a defensive lineman for the Ravens. AP Assistant Coach of the Year, D'Amico Ryans, 49ers defensive coordinator, who we'll be talking about here in a second too. The Deacon Jones Sack Leader Award goes to Nick Bosa. NFL Fan of the Year, presented by Captain Morgan, Larry Bevins, who is a Seahawks fan for some reason. The Bud Light Celly of the Year, I actually really like this award. The Bengals Roller Coaster Celebration in Week 18. Of course, I believe it was 5-6 years ago, the NFL started allowing for celebrations after touchdowns, and it's been a lot of fun. at least in my opinion. Salute to Service Award goes to Ron Rivera, the Commanders head coach. FedEx Air and Ground Player of the Years goes to Joe Burrow and Josh Jacobs. The Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year goes to Dak Prescott. Why? I don't know, but he got it. The Next Gen Stats Moment of the Year, Justin Jefferson's catch versus the Bills. That was if you didn't watch it, you need to watch that one. There's no way to describe it other than I don't know how it happened, because Kirk Cousins just threw the ball randomly into like double coverage, and somehow Jefferson got the ball. I believe he did like a little reach up too. I'm not going to put it as good as Odell's sideline catch, but it was a pretty good catch. I know people who will put it above there. AP Defensive Rookie of the Year goes to Sauce Gardner, Jets cornerback. And then Offensive Rookie of the Year goes to Garrett Wilson, the Jets wide receiver. So the Jets had a very good year, in my opinion, even though they didn't make the playoffs. Not a lot of people are expecting them to do well, especially with all the drama going on in their quarterback room. Seeing this definitely shows this team gets a quarterback. They have a very bright future ahead of them. AP Defensive Player of the Year goes to Nick Bosa. Offensive Player of the Year is Justin Jefferson. Comeback Player of the Year, I have a huge problem with this one, is Geno Smith, mainly because Comeback Player of the Year has always gone to somebody who got injured and came back. Geno Smith was not injured last year. He was not injured the year before. He's just been on the bench for a while. And even last year, he started a couple of games because Russell had a hand injury. And he did pretty good. Like, he wasn't necessarily a horrible backup. He did okay. But now he's Comeback Player of the Year. Should have been Derrick Henry. Why? Because I put money on him. That's why. And he was also injured last year. AP Coach of the Year goes to Brian Daboll. I'm not upset about this. Brian Daboll did take a very lackluster Giants team and take them to the playoffs, something they haven't done since like 2010. So it was, even though we're rivals, it was good seeing them step up and competing, which they haven't really been doing in the past. Brian Daboll did a fantastic job. Doug Peterson was also in consideration. I really would have liked to see him because that was a team that went last place in the entire NFL into the playoffs. But I am not Kanye West. I'm not going to take somebody's thunder away from them. Geno Smith, Brian Daboll, congratulations. The Pro Football Hall of Fame inducted their class of 2023. We have Rondé Barber, Darrelle Revis, Joe Thomas, Zach Thomas, DeMarcus Ware, Don Crowley, Chuck Howley, or Don Coryell, Chuck Howley, Joe Klecko, and Ken Riley. I do know most of these names. The last couple, I'm not going to lie, I do not know. Rondé Barber, cornerback for the Buccaneers. I believe he was on their Super Bowl team when they won it in like 2002. Darrelle Revis, Revis Island, one of the best corners to play the game. Joe Thomas, one of the best linemen to play the game. And then DeMarcus Ware, a very great linebacker. Had a couple seasons with Dallas and Denver. It's great to see these names. It's great to see the other names. And then the last one, we have the AP Most Valuable Player of the Game, and that went to Patrick Mahomes. Did he deserve it? Yes. I'm not gonna lie. You all know I'm an Eagles fan. Hurts had an amazing year, but Patrick beat Jalen in every category: passing, most yards, most touchdowns. I think he even beat him in rushing, so it's hard to say. Jalen deserves it because they both really do. They were both fantastic players. But Patrick definitely had a better year, in my opinion, but also not in my opinion, in a lot of other people's opinions. So we're moving on to the Super Bowl. We have it's first time in a while. I don't remember exact. It might have been was that 2017 Super Bowl 52 when the Eagles beat the Patriots. I think this is the first time since then that we have the two number one seeds playing each other. Um, Philadelphia beat the Giants in the second round and then beat the 49ers to make their way. The Chiefs beating the Jags and then the Bengals to make their way. This is going to be a very exciting game. The Eagles are obviously going to win because a fan did hang some Chiefs attire on the Rocky statue, which just curses you. Why you do it, I do not know. But hey, he did it. So his team's got to pay for that bad mistake. No, I do think this game's gonna be very similar to Super Bowl 52, where it is a shootout through and through. I think it's going to be. I'm not gonna say a defensive struggle, but it's gonna be hard for these defenses to stop these offenses. These are two of the best offenses. I believe the Eagles had the number one offense. Chiefs might have been two or three. Um, but I do think that the Eagles defense is going to step up a couple of times, just enough to get the win. I'm going to say probably a 10-point win. It's going to be close. It's not going to be like super, super close. I think we're going to have a couple Hail Marys towards the end, kind of like what we have seen in the past. But yeah, Brandon Graham, Philadelphia hero for getting that strip sack. Um, I think there's going to be something very similar. I don't think there are going to be a ton of turnovers, maybe one or two that are um, kind of what gives the Eagles the win, because I do think Philadelphia wins this game. And then some other news in the NFL. Obviously, we did have several coaches get fired throughout the season and also at the end of the season. So now we're going to talk about some hirings. We're going to talk about people getting jobs. So there have been several. The Arizona Cardinals have hired a new general manager, Monty Ozenfort, former Titans director of player personnel. The Atlanta Falcons have hired Ryan Nielsen, former Saints assistant coach, as their defensive coordinator. Carolina Panthers have hired a new defensive coordinator, Ajiro Evero from the Denver Broncos, and Frank Reich is their new head coach. Frank Reich, first head coach that we've said who got fired this season to get another job. He was with the Colts. The Cleveland Browns have hired Jim Schwartz as their defensive coordinator. Dallas Cowboys, we didn't talk about this. They did get rid of, I'm just blanking on his name now, but their offensive coordinator, quarterback for Boise State, Kellen Moore. They did get rid of him. They just hired Brian Schottenheimer from the Seahawks to be their new offensive coordinator. Denver Broncos, in another blockbuster trade, have Sean Payton as their new head coach. They had to make a trade with New Orleans because, well, yes, Sean Payton retired. He was still under contract. So coming back, his rights were still with New Orleans. So New Orleans had to trade their rights away to Denver. The Houston Texans have hired DeMeco Ryans to be their new head coach. Great to see DeMeco Ryans get a job. I've been a fan of his. He used to play for Philadelphia. Had a fantastic defense this year. In fact, the Saints had the 49ers had the number one defense this year. So Texans probably gonna have a really good defense next year. The Los Angeles Chargers did hire Kellen Moore to be their new offensive coordinator. The Rams hire Mike LaFleur, not that Mike LaFleur, former Jets offensive coordinator, to be their new offensive coordinator. The Miami Dolphins hire Vic Fangio as their defensive coordinator. Minnesota Vikings hire Brian Flores as their new defensive coordinator. The Patriots promote linebacker coach Jared Mayo to assistant coach and de facto defensive coordinator. And they hired Bill O'Brien, former former Patriots offensive coordinator, who's kind of gone and done a whole lot of different things. He is back in New England as their offensive coordinator. The Saints hired Joe Woods as their defensive coordinator. The New York Jets hire Keith Carter from Titans offensive line. He is the new offensive line coach. And then Nathaniel Hackett, formerly the Broncos head coach, is now their offensive coordinator. What does this mean for the Aaron Rodgers news? Because what's going to happen to Aaron Rodgers? I don't know. I don't think the Jets are going to get him, but this isn't an actual hiring, but it is rumor, and I like rumors. Steve Wilkes, former Panthers interim head coach, is expected to be hired as their defensive coordinator. Tennessee Titans hire Rand Carthen. He's their new general manager. He was 49ers director of pro personnel. And then Tim Kelly, former passing game coordinator, is the new, or he's been promoted. He is the new offensive coordinator. There have been a ton of interviews going out there. Obviously, the Cardinals still have a head coaching job. The Colts, I believe, yes, they still have a head coaching job. Right now, those are the only two I can think of off the top of my head that I'm looking at right now. They are the only two head coaching jobs still vacant. The Panthers and Broncos were two big ones that have just been filled up. So we'll kind of see here in the future. I know like the Eagles offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator have both been in talks of being interviewed to become a new head coach. The Chiefs, I can't think of his name, but his offensive coordinator, Eric Bieniemy, I think it is always in consideration. Usually we're not going to hear them because they are still involved with the team. Sometimes it is announced, though, right before the game that they are leaving to be head coaches somewhere else. But that is all I have for the NFL. And that's really all I have today. Again, Sunday is Super Bowl Sunday. The Eagles are taking on the Chiefs. Doing a quick look there. Yeah, I think I talked about everything I wanted to talk about today. So yeah, hey, it was great being on here. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a comment. Who do you think is going to win the West now that the Mavericks have a second playmaker in Kyrie, and that the Suns have picked up Kevin Durant? Hey, are the Jazz going to make a surprise run and win? I don't know. Probably not. But it would be fun to talk about. So throw it in the comments. Who do you think is going to win the Western Conference Finals this year? And then why they're going to win the entire thing. But hey, if you like this video, be sure to hit that little thumbs up button. It means a lot to me. If you haven't already, subscribed too, because we throw out a lot of really cool stuff. This show that happens occasionally. We also have Movie Battleground. You just watched me bully Zach Shelton. If you watched that match, Zach, I am sorry. You did not deserve everything that was given to you. Just a good, solid amount. A lot of other matches. I don't know exactly what else is going. I do know that you have me versus Aaron Cannoli. Papa's Revenge Tour is real. It is happening. Aaron, I'm going to destroy you just like I destroyed Zach Shelton. And Tato. I destroyed Tato also. But yeah, be sure to check out all those other videos. Colton Roberts has the Supernova show. He just did a show recently where he was interviewing somebody. Who it was, I don't remember off the top of my head. But it was somebody. So watch that. She was cute. That's all I remember. And then also be sure to follow TMG Trivia. Kevin is in the middle of the Teams Geek Tournament. We just had some really exciting matches record recently. So can't wait to see them actually pop up. And then I do TMG teams and singles. Singles, we just finished round number 2. So I'm doing a couple matches before I finished round number 1, doing a couple matches before I get into round number 2. So be sure to check those out. From everyone in the TMG family, thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day. Stay safe. Make smart choices. Or don't. I do not care. Not your dad. But I could be your papa.
Bye.